Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm Darkjack, and in this video I go 52-0 flawless with a nuclear medal on the map Overflow with my tar, and it has no attachments on it, and I'm running my normal setup, which is hardline, flak jacket, toughness, and tac mask. And I'm not going to talk about the gameplay itself, which is pretty self-explanatory. I'm playing with good teammates in this gameplay, and I'm playing against people that are really bad. Instead, what I'm going to talk about is how to find a good team in Call of Duty, or any other game for that matter. And you have to remember, in Call of Duty, you are just one player. Regardless of how good you are at the game, you are just one person. So if you're playing Ground War, and in Ground War there are 18 people playing, 9 on each team, there are 17 other people playing besides you. So you only make up 5.5% of the players playing in the game. And if you're playing 6v6, there are 11 other players besides you. So you only make up 8.3% of the players. And so I've learned this from Halo 3, is that you can't be a one-man army unless you're playing against people that are really bad. So when you play solo by yourself, you have to depend upon random teammates, and sometimes you get teammates that are really good, and you can dominate the other team, and sometimes you get teammates that are really bad. And in those situations, it gets really frustrating because your teammates constantly die and allow the other team to get kill streaks or to control the power weapons. So you cannot be a one-man army unless you're playing against players that are much worse than you are. That's why people enjoy playing against noobs. That's why people in Halo 3 created new accounts, so that way they could play against people who are not very good and they could dominate in a team-based game. So when you're playing against decent players, the only way to win is if the people on your team are as good or almost as good as the people on the enemy team, unless you have a gigantic-sized backpack. Unless you're playing free-for-all, you need to run with a team if you want to have a good win-loss ratio in Call of Duty. If you ever want to win on a consistent basis, you have to play with other people who are good, because if you play by yourself, it puts you in the middle of games and it puts you on the losing team most of the time, since you're coming in for the people who have quit out, and people quit out when they're losing. And the way that people on YouTube get gameplay for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is they quit out of lobbies until they get into a lobby of people who are not very good. That's why almost all of them have terrible win-loss ratios, because they quit out of games until they get into a noob lobby or a magical lobby. And that's how I got the spinning nuke emblem in Modern Warfare 2. I quit out of lobbies until I got into lobbies of people who were a lower level, who I knew would not shoot down my air support. Because I could get 7 kills in a row for my Harrier against good players, but when I played against them, whenever I'd get a Harrier or a chopper gunner, they would always shoot it down immediately. So I quit out of lobbies until I got into lobbies of people who I thought would not shoot down air support. And I got my spinning nuclear emblem, which is 10 nukes in about 12 hours of gameplay. So I'm going to explain now how to find a good team in Call of Duty, or any other game, like Halo for that matter. And if you want to play with people who are good, you yourself have to be good. You have to be a good player yourself in order for people who are good at the game to want to play with you. So if your stats are not very good in Call of Duty, let's say you have a 0.8 win-loss and a 1.2 KD ratio or lower, people who are really good will not want to play with you on a regular basis. So if your stats are not very good at the game, I would recommend that you reset your stats so that way you can have good stats, because your kill-death ratio and your win-loss ratio are the measuring sticks that people use to determine how good you are at the game, even though they don't always give a complete picture of how good you are. So you may have started off doing really poorly, but now you're doing much better. And in that case, you should just reset your stats. That way people who are good at the game will want to play with you, because if they see your stats are not very good, they will not want to be your friends. And they'll probably just play with you for a few games and then leave and find better players. So to play on a team that is good, you yourself must be good at the game you're playing. And so good players do not want to play with people who have terrible stats. And that's one reason why I could not get friends when I was playing in Halo 3 who were really good at the game, because in Halo 3 I was only a brigadier, and I had very few people on my friends list who were playlist 50s in Halo 3, and almost none of them wanted to play with me in ranked matchmaking because they were afraid that I would do poorly against playlist 50s. It was the same in Call of Duty as well. If you're not very good at the game, people who are good at the game do not want to play with you. That's just the way it is. Another way to find good players is not only if you're good at the game yourself, but there's a website called Hupit, H-U-P-T-I, H-U-P-I-T, and Hupit is a place where you can go and you can find people who are good at the game, and some of them are really good and some of them are really bad. And at Hupit, what you can do is, if you don't have people who are good at the game, you can send the people there who are trying to find friends messages and friend requests and ask them to be your friends. And so you can use that, and you can send every person on Hupit a friend request. until you have a full friends list of people who play Call of Duty on a regular basis. And you also want to send friend requests to every good player that you play with that has a microphone. Now, if you're playing on a team by yourself, and then you see people in the lobby who are on your team who are really good, you can then send them an invite to play with after that game is over. Because every person that is on your friends list at one time was a random to you. They were just a random player until you invited them or they invited you to play with them. So if you see good players, send them invites and play with them. But only if they have microphones, because if they don't have mics, it's hard to be friends with someone who is without a mic. So if you don't have a microphone yourself, I definitely recommend getting one. You can get microphones for really cheap. I mean, there are Turtle Beaches and Tridents for $60 that you can buy. Those are good headsets. I recommend the Astro headset, which is $250, which is pretty expensive. But if you don't want to spend that kind of money, then you can also get the Triton 720s, which are $120, and those are really good as well. Those are almost as good as the Astros. So every friend that you have at one time was a random player. So when you see someone that is good, send a friend request to them and invite them to play. And then also, once you have friends who are good at Call of Duty, send friend requests to the people that are on their friends list. So when your friends who are good at Call of Duty invite their friends to the game to play with you, send friend requests to them and then build your friends list off the people on their friends list. So you really don't need to find all the people who are good at Call of Duty by yourself. You can network with other people and you can see their friends lists, and then you can share friends list with them. That way you have the same friends list of people who are good at Call of Duty. So build your friends list off of the friends list of other people who are good at the game. Also, when you play with people, don't be a jerk, don't be rude, don't be vulgar, be a good team player, and don't dashboard when you play with people. If you dashboard when you play with people, you will get removed, and I'll take you off your friends list, because people do not want to play with people that dashboard and rage quit games. Also, don't rage, don't yell, don't scream into your microphone when something goes wrong, even though I will do that from time to time. I'll get angry at the game like everyone else, but try to keep your rage to a minimum, because people don't want to play with people who are always raging and complaining. And when you play with people, always run UAV, counter UAV, and VSAT to be a good team player. Help your friends out, and they'll want to play with you more if they know that you help them out in getting VSATs. So be a good team player, and run equipment and kill streaks that help your team out. And you have to know when to leave your friends for better ones. So when you first start playing Call of Duty, the people that you're friends with are probably not going to be very good at the game like you are. They're going to be new at the game too. But as you get better, you'll be able to make friends with people who are better. And then playing with your old friends will put you at a disadvantage, because they're going to do really bad all the time, because they're new at the game. They have like 0.6 KDs, and you have to know when to move on and to get friends who are good at the game, because your friends on Xbox or PS3, they're not your real life friends. They are friends in the sense that you play with them, and you essentially use each other to avoid getting put into the middle of games and to do well at the game. So they're not your real life friends. They are friends that you use to do better at the game. You're using each other in the sense that you are mutually benefiting each other by playing with each other. That allows you to do better and to have a good win-loss ratio, and to not have to worry about joining games in progress. And if your friends list is full, then you should remove everyone from your friends list who has not been online in, I'd say, 50 to 60 days or more. And so if you haven't played with someone who's on your friends list in over a year, they're probably not your friend. There's really no point in having someone in your friends list that you never play with. So you have to know when to remove people who are terrible at the game or who are never online for better players. And even though that may sound harsh, that's just the reality of it, because you always want to have people to play with. So on my friends list, right now I have 99 friends, and all of them play Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on a regular basis. So whenever I get online, that means I always have people to play with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary, and I'll see you later.